Do you have a vivid imagination, and do you often think in pictures? Well, then it's very probable that you have a strong spatial intelligence. Hello, hejsan hej, I am Pixel Pia, and in today's episode we will be talking about spatial intelligence. So without further ado, let's get this video started. In my series about the 9 types of intelligence and the learning styles that goes hand in hand with them, the turn has come to the spatial intelligence. And even though I only talk about one type in each episode, I think we are all capable of using all 9 types of intelligence and all the different learning styles. If you haven't seen my earlier episodes, I will link them up in the eye and in the description box. And I would recommend that you watch the first one in the series about my age-mixed classroom, because I will use some example from that class in this video. Well, what is spatial intelligence? It can be described as the capability of understanding 3D shapes and objects. It is often referred to as visual intelligence. And for example, if you're good at solving a Rubik's Cube, you probably have a strong spatial intelligence. You are probably interested in art and photography. You might like to do puzzles, and you can easily understand maps. Usually a person with a strong spatial intelligence have a good sense of directions and easily understand concepts like distance and measurements. So what learning styles can enhance the learning for a spatial learner? Well, one method is to use a lot of pictures and drawings. For example, draw new concepts as pictures. For example, you can use the drawing technique to learn new words by drawing pictures. Another method is to build models. In math, it's important to let the students use different manipulatives to understand the concepts. And you also need to practice in real life. For example, if you are working with the concept of area, let the students measure the room and figure out the area of the actual room they are in. Add pictures, photos, and movies to the material you are learning. You can also use computers to find pictures, photos, and videos that supplement the material you are working with. Instead of taking regular traditional notes, you can learn how to mind map. And instead of using words in your mind map, you can draw pictures. So how did we work in my classroom to best accommodate the spatial learners? Well, first of all, I always used a lot of illustrations to end everything I was teaching. But for the visual learner, it was more important than that. They used a lot of art material. And my visual learners could choose to use unlined notebooks for their note-taking, so they could draw pictures. Each table also had markers, color pencils, crayons, and other art material in the base equipment. Plus we had an art center in the room. Each school year also started with a short repetition course in mind mapping. And all classes at my school used that as an introduction each school year. They also had constant access to the laptops. And in my experience, it actually was the spatial learners that most frequently chose to work on the laptops. We had a lot of age-appropriate games, and they could also always print out pictures from the internet. We also had plenty of manipulatives. In math, for examples, we had different tiles to work with, like fractions or percentage. We had a lot of different blocks to build models with. We had Cuisenaire rods, place value maths, scales and weights. And as we were working with the concept of volume, we had the classroom for the first and second grade class. Instead of a group room, they actually had a small kitchen. So our spatial learners could actually go in there and measure volume. So what are my thoughts about the spatial intelligence students? Well, they might have a hard time in the traditional school system. They often have trouble with step-by-step learning, especially if they don't have a clear picture of the final product. And even if they do, it's very important to support their learning with visual materials. In this series, I try to do a shout out to a fellow creator in each episode. And today, when we are talking about spatial intelligence, my shout out goes to M. Living Art. She's a visual artist that has a very unique way of using video as an art medium. And if you haven't visited her channel, I warmly recommend you to do so. I will link her channel up in the eye, in the description, and in the end screens. So, when you're done with this video, go visit M and her channel, M Living Art. In my next episode, I will talk about the kinesthetic intelligence. So until then, goodbye, or as we say in Sweden, hej då!